I have to give you some context before we start this. Basically, I went to the Gamescom and I played the demo together with the THQ team. It's a long story. I will cut out this part of the video for the YouTube and I will just add it at the end of it right away with what is the important information that you guys are here for. Most of these things are stuff they told me and stuff that I got from my perception by reading the room, if you allow me. I understood that the demo will not be released. Like there's 99% chances that we will not see the demo. And if we see it, it's gonna be maybe after the game releases. I tried to ask them, will the demo be released maybe after the Gamescom, maybe, I don't know, in some months, you have to polish it more. And they said no, and their faces were very explanatory, how do you say? And yeah, so we're not gonna see the demo. What else about general info? I can tell you, switching topic a little bit before we start talking about the weapon system, which I like a lot. Sprint is possible with no stamina, but you can't sprint with a weapon. And on top of that, because we talked about it, I was like, you know, if you have sprint, you can just run away from everything. It's going to be easy. I was thinking a lot about Masti's Liver mod, where having sprint is OP. And he was like, no, don't worry, because most things can catch you. So even if you sprint away from enemies, most of them, especially animals, will be faster than you. Speaking about the weapons, every weapon will have its own animation. Every weapon kind, every weapon type will have its own animation. You start slower, of course, you go faster the more experienced you are. We can say that axes are the faster ones, swords are in the middle, and then we have maces, which are the slowest, but probably will be the ones who hit harder right after the two-handers. Every weapon style is aimed in order to be good. Like their idea, you know, original Gothic, you start with a one-hander, then you start getting the two-handers, which are just better, and then you get to Red Seal. Also, I have some speculation about this for the remake. Here, every weapon type will be good. You will be able to bring it on till the end game, and you like axes. You can get the axe from the get-go, get better axes with their animations dedicated, and they will always be good until the end game. Same thing for maces, for every weapon. And this is pretty cool, because if you really like a particular combat style with a particular weapon, you don't have to switch it at some points because it sucks. I want to speculate about this. This means, in my opinion, most certainly, if you think about it logically, this means that Ureziel at the end of the game, and this is speculation, Ureziel will be probably some sort of cloth barrier. So depending on what you want to use, Ureziel might be modified, maybe by stone, or might transform, or there might be different variations. I'm pretty sure that since this is what they want to do with the weapon system, Ureziel will be customizable depending on what you want to use in the game. So we might see a one-handed axe Ureziel, we might see a bow Ureziel maybe. This is again speculation, but I'm pretty sure, because it wouldn't have sense to make people enjoy their favorite weapon kind, and then at the end, boom, but yeah, you have to use the two-handed anyway. Speaking about weapons again, maces will have some sort of infinite combo system. We were talking about it, and basically he did the example of having a mace and just, you know, when you use a mace, a blunt weapon, you're like smash, smash, smash. So he wants to implement this kind of combat style for the maces. I don't know about the two-handed versions. I just know about the one-hander. Most likely, the infinite combo for the mace will not make you move forward. So if people gets out of the way, you will just be standing there hitting the air. The iframes about dodging, the iframes will not really be there. In Gothic, we are used, at least Gothic 2, but also Gothic 1 turns out to have this. You can just dodge backwards, and you get iframes, invincibility frames, like any Souls. Here it will not happen, because they want to make it realistic, the combat. So basically, it's all about being physically out of range of the weapon. If a weapon nearly touches your face, you won't get hit. If it touches you, you will. The dodge doesn't really have iframes. He said that it just will have a little bit of iframes at the very start of the animation, just to be able to polish and make everything more smooth with the hitboxes colliding and all that kind of stuff. So unless they change it, the dodge will work this way. What else? Acrobatics, speaking still of combat. Acrobatics will make you roll around like Souls game. Yeah, you will probably get a ton of iframes while you do that. So if you manage to master the acrobatics thing, that shouldn't be too hard to get, if you ask me. It will be something like Gothic 1, not Gothic 2, where you need dexterity. Gothic 1, you just learn it, right? But anyway, once you learn it, you can actually roll around. That's the thing they told me. And another thing, which actually the video you're seeing from Koh, he complained.
Oh, I have to put my weapon away to loot? Nope. No, we got to change that. Are you telling me there's no combat looting in this game? Nuh-uh. We got to work on that.
It's in the demo already. You can actually loot while your weapon is out. That's the reason why we have the two icons. There is L2, and you can switch the kind of action you can do with particular items. And this is mainly needed to be able to loot while you combat. So I don't know, you kill an enemy or he's down, you can decide stab him to death, you press L2, it's loot. We have some ranged weapon later. Now we're going to talk about the world. The world, as you heard many times, if you're following this entire matter, is 30% bigger. The most of this extra 30% is due to making, again, the world more realistic. In the original, you had biomes that were really like closed between each other's. Like, I don't know, you exit from the forest, boom, you're outside the forest. There's no blending between the two biomes. He did a fun example about the shadow beast. Like, you know, you go in the forest, there's a little cave with the shadow beast, and after 5 meters, we have the fields with the old camp in the distance. It wouldn't have much sense with this method. You will have the forest blend much more together with the fields to make it more realistic, let's say. We talked a lot about the old game, and we talked about the old mine at the beginning of the game. Basically, when you start, there is that closed old mine that originally was meant to be open. Some mod makers, actually, for Gothic 1, managed to bring that back, and we have different versions of it depending on the mod you're playing. And we have a little part of that in the demo. You can visit that old mine system, but it's supposed to be bigger than that. And this also brings us to basically verify that a lot of cut content might come back, probably will. Vertigo in his video, for example, cool guy, I suggest you to go and check him out. He mentioned the Orc City that now is called Enclave. So the Orc City will get back. It's easily to expect even the Citadel underground. You remember the Citadel where you find Urshak. Yeah, the Orc Shaman. No, Hoshpak is the other one. Is it? I always confuse these two. Is it Hoshpak or Urshpak? But anyway, the Shaman guy, you find at the Citadel where Zarda send you. There is an underground, Urshak, thank you, yes. There's an underground there that is kind of scuffed with pillars going back up and down. That part will most likely be implemented again because it's part of what didn't make it in the final game entirely. Also, the bandit camp with Quentin and all those kind of things will be reintegrated. The NPCs. So the NPCs are much more elaborate than I thought, because it's like that, technically speaking, is a long thing to explain, but let's say that just NPCs, human and animals, it doesn't matter. They have like a list, and on this list there are things that they like and they don't. They're interested and they're not. The example he did, because we talked about the old playable teaser mechanic to throw meat to the wolves to lure them away, or to lure them to you, to get them away from the pack. An example he did was that you can kind of throw ore nuggets to distract convicts or people, so they will go and try to pick it up. So I guess that this also brings us to stealth action that will be much improved thanks to this. I wasn't thinking about it when I was there, but why add this kind of mechanic if you don't want to implement stealth on a higher degree, you know? And he was really happy. Javi was very happy about this, because he was mentioning the Assassin's Creed where you can throw gold in the air and the guy screams dinero and people go gather and climb it so you can run away from guards, for example. So something similar is to be expected to see in the remake. Stealth in my Gothic game. Hitman mechanics. I don't know, but something like that. Yeah, co-op, Emilio won't be there. Sorry if I'm missing a lot of chat, guys, but as I said, I want to go through this and try to be as specific as possible. It was sneaking around, yeah, and in this case, we probably will have more cooler mechanics, because again, if you want to give importance to every weapon style, there are weapons that are for thieves or rogue kind of characters, so maybe daggers, maybe bows, Speaking of bows, you can recover the arrows based on your skill and where you shoot. He mentioned, for example, the skull of a big animal, because arrows can break, and the harder is the target you hit, the more chances there are for the arrow to break. On the other side, if you hit like a sack of flavor, of grain, the arrow goes all the way through. Maybe it could be harder to take back. An important mention to crossbows. For ranged, it's going to be mainly focused on bows, which can shoot very fast when you become better. And you can have this sort of trick shot skills that I'm not sure what it is, because we didn't go into detail with that aspect. The crossbows will be some kind of shotgun, basically, because it's super slow to reload, but it's super precise, even though the range of it is much shorter than the bow. And he mentioned an example, guards at the gate, you engage in combat, and first thing they're gonna do is shoot, and then just put away the crossbow and go melee, because it would be too slow to try and reload and shoot again. And so this is how the crossbows will work. About magic, let's see if I can find it, because I wanted to show you the ice block. Let's see. No, this is the book slap page thingy, which I love. Yeah, okay. So this, in the remake, we know for sure that this is the new ice block. We don't have the big ice cube bullet that travels, but instead we have this kind of stuff here. This is super fast. Jesus, let's make it slower a little bit, like 50%. I mean, you know the trailer. I just want to prove a point. So yeah, this is the new ice block. As you can see, it damaged a lot of this. About magic, I have to mention, since I'm talking about ice block, that each magic kind will have its dot, somewhat like the original game did. So fire will do extra damage because it will have burning dot. Ice will slow and not freeze. And the lightning is about stunning. Yeah, the rune. You saw that weird fancy rune that when mage is casting spell flies around him. It's both for making things look cooler, I guess, but mostly because you will have apparently duels or fights with mages, and the rune around the mage tells you what kind of spell is ready to go. So this is some sort of technical advanced way of doing magic duels or something, because if you have an enemy and you see what kind of spell he's doing, you can counter it. So that's why the runes are there, and they will, I guess, change shape, color depending on the element, and stuff like that. About the stats, oxygen, and this is really something I didn't see anywhere else. Oxygen, when you're swimming, can be improved with your learning points during the game, and you can have bigger oxygen level because the underwater part of the game has extended quite a lot. There are more secrets, there are more stuff, and most importantly, some stuff you can't just get there from the get-go. You need to unlock more oxygen bar. I don't know if it's gonna be just one level like acrobatics. You don't have it, now you do. Oxygen, you don't have super oxygen, now you do. Or it's something that goes into levels. I have no idea. The magic duel thing sounds promising. Yeah, it seems. I'm really curious to see how this thing will be implemented, because I don't remember many mages you fight against, except for shamans, but shamans go fireball and GG, you know. So, but maybe some weird stuff will happen. Who knows? Maybe some I don't know, Ronin mages that have been kicked out or stuff like that, or just people using scrolls. Maybe for the scrolls, it will work that way too. You know, in the original game, scrolls were just used by the player, basically. And it would be cool, since that everyone sells them in the world, it would be cool to also see NPCs try to using them, you know. Hybrid characters. So I think he mentioned, when we were talking about the Ice Wave, is that he was making an example with an archer. Maybe he's surrounded and he decides to cast the Ice Wave to slow down the enemies and run away and shoot again. They're focusing on this aspect, is the chance to make characters hybrid. You don't have to focus like in Gothic 2, oh, I have to go two-handed, I have to go one-handed. You can do a good mix of everything and still have a valuable character at the end of the game. Are they gonna be cool interaction, like having to hit golems with blunt weapons? Yes, good point. Each enemy has its own, not each enemy, but most enemies will have their own weakness. So of course, you find a minecrawler, it will be weak to blunt, but it will not show because you don't have blunt, blade, piercing, melee protections. You just have melee defense and arrow defense. Many enemies will have this like encoded in their scripts. So yeah, the golem is weak to blunt and the fire lizard is weak to ice. that will still be brought on, like it was in the original at the end of the day. How will the fight versus big enemies like trolls will be? Unfortunately, I did not ask anything like that, so I can't really answer. If you have no problems with mixed builds, if you focus on one thing, you will be OP. There's a thing, this actually connects to another thing I wanted to say. Most likely, I'm not 100% sure of this one because it was almost at the end of the meeting interview, and I had like a gazillion amount of information, so take this with a grain of salt. But most likely, the stats to equip weapons should not also be used to scale with the weapon damage. So, I don't know, a weapon uses 100 strength and does 100 damage, you do 100 damage. You don't do 100 plus 100 strength like in the old Gothic. Let's see, skills. Skills, as you saw, are not shown at all. Unlike the original Gothic, where you have all your skill displayed and you just see, I don't know, lockpicking, no, stealth, no, you won't even see those, because exploration is one of the main points they're focusing on with this game. Not only exploration as like running around and finding places, but like exploring the game, trying things, trying alternative routes, and the skills are part of this. Yeah, and that's about it, guys. Wow, that was quick. Okay, I can finally upload this video, and thanks for the patience. How can I make good pasta? The golden trick for good pasta, no matter the sauce, is to take the boiling water of the pasta. After you put the salt, after you put the pasta and you waited at least 5 minutes, you get a little bit of that water and you put it in the pan where the sauce is. And that improves automatically any kind of sauce you're making for your pasta. I hope everything I said was understandable. I did my best. It was great, pretty good. Oh, thank you guys. Much appreciated. I really don't have anything else to say about this matter, unless I'm forgetting something. It was super cool. As I said, VIP plays. The way we smuggled in with Timur, for who doesn't know, super cool. So, long story short, I went to Gamescom. Most of you guys know it was a month of struggle because I had to both collect the money to go there, which I didn't have. And on top of that, yeah, it was kind of hard. I had the fundraising. Thanks everyone for participating. I have the huge challenge from Ziddy that dropped most of the money needed to do this journey. And what is it? No, so Cubato. I'm sorry. Later, I'm doing stuff. Okay, we got invasions. I'll totally cut this out for the video, hopefully, or maybe not. So I managed to go to the Gamescom after this incredible month of effort, and I stayed many hours in line, as you guys know, just to get in the Gamescom, and then many hours in line just to play the game. All set, everything organized, all the permissions from the Discord community managers and everything to go there. It's finally my time to play, and the guy is like, no streaming, no recording allowed. It was kind of a bad feeling because, yeah, all that effort to get there, and at the end of the day, they didn't make us stream. We had some feedback telling, just cut the stream, play the demo and react. I have to admit that after all these things I went through, I was playing the demo and I really wanted to play the demo, I have to be honest. Not only I had the 15-minute timer on screen, which is terrible for whoever wants to play Gothic, because it's one of those games you have to play many hours at least to enjoy. But also, yeah, I was kind of pissed and disappointed and sad. And so, yeah, I played, I stayed there, I wanted to quit multiple times. At the end of the day, I didn't quit. I completed the thing, and then I just went to the general area to chill. Got messages from Timur. We finally managed to meet after a lot of struggles because that place is gigantic and we couldn't find each other. In some way, we managed to sneak inside what was the private area of the developers at the Gamescom. So after we met, after searching for each other with messages, his microphone from the phone is totally broken. So you hear like, we'll meet at the panel. It was literally like this. And I was like, where the fudge do I have to go? So we met. Hey, Saradok. I was so excited and everything. I was not ready. I didn't go there. Like they called me, you're going to do an interview with these guys, prepare some questions. No, I was there. I got in the room. But let's get to the room part. So basically, I met with Timur. And he's like, okay, we're gonna go in the business VIP area for developers. There's also the THQ place. Do you have a badge? Like, you know, they have those badges with names and I'm important. And I was like, no, dude, I'm a peasant. I did 3 hours to play 15 minutes of demo. What question? He's like, okay, don't worry. So this is how it's gonna work. You're gonna follow me, says Timur. You're gonna follow me, look confident. We're gonna go in and just pretend you know what you're doing. I was like, okay, fine, let's try this. So he starts going to the business checkpoint where the guards are. And he's showing his badge and the guy is like, okay. I tried to look as confident and also annoyed. I was looking annoyed on purpose because being annoyed is part of looking like you know what you're doing. I was like, they're pissed. And the guy watches me and I'm like, yeah, I'm with him. And he's like, okay, you can go. So we got in, VIP area, free food and drinks, pretty nice. After a while, Timur comes, okay, come in this room. In this room, there was Javi. I was not expecting. So I didn't even know it was about an interview, a chit chat, call it as you want. And so I just found the guy, super excited. You're the guy from the podcast number 3. And he was like, yeah, you know me, lead game designer and everything. And we just started nerding on Gothic while playing the demo. And we had like a very extensive talk about the game. I really love the guy. He's super passionate. You can see that in his eyes with the way he talks and everything. I don't know if this guy knew the game before starting to work on Remake or if he just did his homework a lot. Thing is, he really knew what he was talking about. It was like speaking with some old veteran of the Gothic series, you know, he knew everything. And there were a lot of comparison, lot of questions, etc., etc. And so we started playing the demo. To be honest, I was playing with controller, it wasn't too bad, but I was so focused in talking with the guy and trying to learn as much as possible that I didn't play that much in an hour. At some point, the game was just idle, and we were there talking back and forth, and Timur, out of desperation, grabbed the controller and started playing himself just to complete the demo. It was kind of a fun thing, if I think about it. I even have a picture. Can I share it? I would like to show this one. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, this is a pic of me playing on this very comfortable couch with the controller and all. Okay, let's get out of this thing. And that's about it. Okay, I guess thanks for joining the interview part. I'm doing this to close the video. And yeah, see you guys next time. And I don't know, I will just edit out something at the end because I suck at outro.